Chapter 10. Thoughts of Gavin create a dark cloud over anything else I attempt to accomplish during my shift. My mind is in a dense fog as I distractedly schedule appointments and record meeting notes for the patients. I can't keep my eyes off the clock after finally deciding to make a quick break to our usual spot after work, just to see if Gavin is still waiting, or if he left a note at all. Or at the very least, I can leave a note. It's worth it, I tell myself. If I can get out right at 7 o'clock, I'd have an hour before the recommended time to be back in the home, and 2 hours, if absolutely needed, before the final lockdown and enforced checks. Sure, it will be a little dark, but I've made the trip enough over the years that I'll find my way. I can't hold out until tomorrow. It's too important. At 6:55 p.m., I'm rushing to finish up the logs from that evening when Dr. Bourdin appears from the back room. He hands me a chart, the curly red hair on the back of his hand standing to attention.
Evangeline, I may need you to stay a few minutes late tonight. Please page Mr. Breamsmain and tell him to come to the clinic.
This never happens. Of course, tonight when I have someplace I need to be, the doctor asks me to stay. There's nothing I can do except nod. As Bourdin walks away, I open the chart to see why it's so urgent. Patient: Angela Breamsmain, number 878. Age: 22. Pairing: Liam Breamsmain, number 893, 22. Synopsis: Year 4 of unsuccessful attempts. Patient is now 8 months pregnant with first success. 6th checkup. I type in Liam's monitor number on the tablet with a quick message that will flash on his watch. Mr. Breamsmain, please join us at the clinic. Thank you. I close the chart and set it back down on the desk. Grabbing a pen and a piece of paper, I quickly scribe a note for Gavin that I can leave behind in case he's no longer at our spot. If he's not there, does that mean he's back at his community? I rarely think of what he's doing at this time of night, since I've usually met with him by now. He has to eat sometime, so I'm sure he's sitting down with his pairing over a meal. She's probably laughing while telling him about something funny that happened today. He's listening attentively to her, waiting to share everything that happened in his own day. Gavin probably hasn't even thought once about how I didn't show up. He just went on with his day. He has her. He doesn't need me like I need him. The clinic door blows open, interrupting my thoughts. A man with a strong jawline and dimples in his cheeks appears. His lean, taller than Gavin by 5 inches frame fills the threshold. With brown hair matted to his forehead, raindrops drip off the edge of his nose. He steps in the office, wipes his feet on the mat, and lets the door close behind him.
Hello? I am Liam Breamsmain. Someone paged me.
His long-legged stride quickly brings him to the front desk. My breath catches in my chest when I see his eyes. They are a dark brown, but I swear when he moves his head a certain angle under the lights, they glint with green, similar to my own. Except thick black eyelashes surround his eyes and detract the odd color, making it less noticeable. I've seen him from a distance, but I can't remember where. I hope my deep breaths aren't apparent, but his scent is addicting. A combination of soap, fresh rain, and something sweet, like the rare vanilla they use in the cooperative bakery for special occasions. It's better than the early morning fresh air. I wonder if he works as a baker. I need your ID, please. He extends his left arm with wrist facing upward. His skin is a shade darker than mine, as though he spends a lot of time outside, similar to Gavin's tan flesh, which would debunk the Baker theory. I swipe the handheld scanner over his monitor as the beep confirms his identity. A streak of dirt lines his wrist, and without thinking, I take my thumb to my tongue to wet it and use it to rub the grime off his skin. Tiny bumps multiply across his arm, and I notice the same on my own. A smile spreads across my face. I know they're called goosebumps. Gavin taught me that the first day I accidentally ran my fingers down his arm when pulling a caterpillar off of him. What are those? I thought my touch had damaged his skin somehow, but Gavin explained it's a basic body reaction to certain touches. Each time the bumps went away, I'd run my fingers down his arm again. I couldn't stop laughing and declaring I must be special to cause them to appear.
You're on a power trip,
Gavin accosted. But he never took his arm away from me and let me do it whenever I wanted to. Before I can hide my smile, I look up at Liam and find him staring into my eyes. I return his lingering gaze. My mind races to sort through indistinguishable thoughts firing at me like missiles. I know him. But I can't think of where I would have seen him, and can't imagine I would forget. Not with a man that looks like he does. Beep beep, beep beep, beep beep. Simultaneously, our monitors are alerted. I launch into action mode as I pull him around the wall rather forcefully and hit the button on the emergency reload cube. I quickly scan his wrist and mine to retrieve our remedy doses. I hand him his pill, and we habitually throw our heads back and take ours in communion. We stand in silence, carefully watching one another. The moment is peaceful and serene, like what encompasses me early in the mornings when I can't sleep and go for a walk. I could stay like this, and I wouldn't ask for anything else.
It sounds like a problem.
Dr. Bourdin, known for his heavy steps, somehow snuck up on us. He must have retreated to his office and not in the back as I thought. He checks Liam's monitor and reaches for mine.
I heard beeping.
No, everything is fine, Doctor. I pull my arm away from him and hide it behind my back. Mr. Breamsmain has arrived as requested?
Mr. Breamsmain. Everything is fine, I assume? Yes, Doctor. At least with me.
Liam confirms.
But you called me here, so I'm wondering if the same goes for my pairing. Please come with me. We can discuss her situation in further detail.
Liam follows Dr. Bourdin to the overnight patient ward. I watch him walk away, silently pleading for him to turn his head and look back at me, but he doesn't. I urge my brain to recall where I've seen him before. The way he was looking at me. He has to remember me from somewhere, too. I spend the next 30 minutes cleaning the office and doing whatever I can to stall. I want to catch another look at Liam. Maybe if I saw him again, I would remember why he looks familiar. I rack my brain for an excuse to go in the back, settling on a roll of gauze to put away in the supply cabinet as if it is an urgent matter. With this newfound reason, I glance in the mirror, layer on lip balm, breathe deeply in preparation to better handle any more monitor mishaps, and march to the ward with determination. As I pull open the door, I run smack into the doctor.
Evangeline, you shouldn't be here still.
You told me to stay late, sir. I was just seeing if there's anything else you need me to do.
No, you can go. Hurry on. There's not much time left.
He glances at the clock on the wall.
Almost 8 o'clock. I won't be responsible for you being late.
I thought about telling him I want to check on Caroline first, but knew Dr. Bourdin would view that as an act of rebellion against authority. Along with being the doctor, he's also a prominent member of the Elders Board, and valued for his opinion since he regularly visits with people of the community. A fresh mark of disobedience would be injurious to my record, so close to the Futures ceremony. I succumbed to his instructions. "Good night, sir." Returning to the front office and leaning over the desk, I grab my bag and hit the light switch. The front desk steel screen lands with a thud, locking the important files behind it. As I enter the dim evening, my eyes dart in search of the strange man I saw earlier. Or maybe they are in search of Liam. The past 24 hours have been the most bizarre of my life. Continual strange encounters within walls that have always been the same and predictable, leaving me to wonder what may pop around the corner next. Those bumps on Liam's arm. Then when they appeared on mine right afterward. I've never had that before. I want to tell Gavin about it. Let him know I finally experienced goosebumps too. But he would want to know the details of the situation that caused the reaction. If I told him about Liam being the cause, Gavin would scold me over how foolish it is to be intrigued by a man who has a pairing, how disrespectful it is to refer to him as Liam instead of Mr. Breamsmain, how wasteful my thoughts are to linger and replay the few moments I had with Liam over and over again. It's like I need to think about him. I'm not even controlling it. I'm thinking about him without even trying to think about him. Beep, beep, beep. I groan. Seriously? Again? This will be terrible on my record if someone sees the reports before the Futures ceremony. Would they change what they've planned for me? The worst consequence of a call into the clinic is that they'll recheck my eyes. If I've noticed the color change, there's no doubt they will when shining a light in them. I consider my location before making my next move. The only refill centers open at this time of night are the emergency ones at the clinic, and one in each of the homes. I haven't even reached the Lightstones yet, so there's no other option. I have to turn back to the clinic. It's also my safest option, since they may not think twice about me tapping into the emergency supply multiple times since I work there. I pull the blue zip-up hoodie out of my bag that I use for my secret trips to see Gavin, one that he gifted to me years ago, and wrap it around my left wrist to hide the beeping noise from the doctor. It muffles the sound a little, hopefully enough to slide in without Dr. Bourdin hearing. I check my watch. I have to make this quick. I'll be cutting it close to the 9 o'clock final check for the night. I sprint back. My pace matches the increasing beeping of the monitor. I open the front door of the clinic and poke my head in. No sign of the doctor. I rush over to the emergency reload and scan my wrist. I just did this an hour earlier. Maybe my dosage levels are off from skipping the lunch one. I grab the pill and throw it back in my throat. Right as I swallow, a door opens and a loud shout follows. Dr. Bourdin is still here. I quickly slide under the front counter, crouch low, and pray no visitors walk through the door and spot me. The doctor never leaves or enters through the front, and hopefully tonight won't be the exception.
Damn it!
A slam of a fist. The counter above me shakes. He must be on the other side of the screen.
Yes, I'm looking at her file now. They should have alerted us faster. Well, what are we going to do with him? It makes sense with her, but do we really have a case for him? I get that. I knew that from the moment I saw him. There's no way the general will be on board. I knew we should have done this years ago. If they aren't successful in year one, the chances decrease and the situation becomes riskier. I've said this multiple times, but she never listens. Well, it has to occur soon. And you need to make the final call. You rallied for the role.
His voice and footsteps fade as he disappears in his office again. When his office door slams, I hurriedly race to the front door, closing it softly behind me. I run as fast as my legs will take me all the way back to the level 17 home. Sneaking into my room without being caught, I crawl into bed with my clothes still on. The lock on the room door clicks precisely at 9 o'clock. I barely made it on time. I've been cutting it dangerously close lately, truly walking on the edge of Impetus rules. Either it was a continual warning sign to change my ways, or further confirmation to no longer let Impetus make decisions for me. Jacqueline's light snores collide with the irregular beat of my heart. I recap the doctor's phone call. Who was he speaking to, and what was it about? Although regularly abrupt, I have never heard him shout so fiercely. He said the decision needs to be made soon. The future ceremony is soon. Was he talking about one of my level mates, or even me? Then a revelation strikes. The strange man dressed in gray. That voice of his. I finally recognize it. He was one of the 2 men talking outside of the unsettling steel building when I tried sneaking into Impetus the last time I saw Gavin. That's why he was still by the thickets. It's like he hasn't left since the time I last returned. He knows something. And I can't help but think that's who Dr. Bourdin was speaking to. What if I've been caught? What if they know I've been visiting Gavin? 12 years of sneaking in and out of Impetus without being seen. 1 day before the board makes the final call on the rest of my future. And now, my secret is exposed. This is terrible timing.